Hello friends, you are on the channel Quotes of Great Men. Enjoy watching. The reason for evil in the world is that people are not able to tell their stories. Our world has become dehumanized. Man feels himself isolated in the cosmos because he is no longer involved in nature. Nothing affects the life of a child so much as the unlived life of its parent. As a child, I felt myself to be alone, and I am still, because I know things and must hint at things which others apparently know nothing of, and for the most part do not want to know. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. It is far better to take things as they come along with patience and equanimity. I must also have a dark side if I am to be whole. Dawn is born at midnight. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. When you're up against a wall, put down roots like a tree until clarity comes from deeper sources to see over that wall and grow. Life is something that has to be lived and not talked about. Invited or not, God is present. Sensation tells us a thing is. Thinking tells us what it is this thing is. Feeling tells us what this thing is to us. Where love stops, power begins, and violence, and terror. The greater the contrast, the greater the potential. Great energy only comes from a correspondingly great tension of opposites. The ability to ask questions is the greatest resource in learning the truth. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Perfection belongs to the gods. The most we can hope for is excellence. The experience of the self is always a defeat for the ego. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. Dreaming is a phylogenetically older mode of thought. 12 experts gathered in one room equal one big idiot. Show me a sane man and I will cure him for you. I could not say I believe. I know. I have had the experience of being gripped by something that is stronger than myself, something that people call God. I've realized that somebody who's tired and needs a rest and goes on working all the same as a fool. Perhaps I myself am the enemy who needs to be loved. The best political, social, and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw the projection of our shadow onto others. You must go in quest of yourself, and you will find yourself again only in the simple and forgotten things. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, their love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. The psychic depths are nature, and nature's creative life. Only one who has risked the fight with the dragon and is not overcome by it wins the treasure hard to attain. He alone has a genuine claim to self-confidence, for he has faced the dark ground of his self and thereby has gained himself. This experience gives him faith and trust. That which we do not confront in ourselves we will meet as fate. The man who promises everything is sure to fulfill nothing, and everyone who promises too much is in danger of using evil means in order to carry out his promises, and is already on the road to perdition. Freedom stretches only as far as the limits of our consciousness. If there's a fear of falling, the only safety consists in deliberately jumping. It is a bewildering thing in human life that the things that cause the greatest fear is the source of the greatest wisdom. Remember that the only God man comes in contact with is his own God, called spirit, soul, and mind, or consciousness, and these three are one. Never do human beings speculate more or have more opinions than about things which they do not understand. Conflicts create the fire of affects and emotions, and like every fire it has two aspects, that of burning and that of giving light. Enlightenment doesn't occur from sitting around visualizing images of light, but from integrating the darker aspects of the self into the conscious personality. Synchronicity reveals the meaningful connections between the subjective and objective world. Shrinking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal which robs the second half of life of its purpose. Man needs difficulties. They are necessary for health. It is only our deeds that reveal who we are. I don't aspire to be a good man. I aspire to be a whole man. It is high time that we realize that it is pointless to praise the light and preach it if nobody can see it. It is much more needful to preach the art of seeing. Thanks for watching. Check out these educational videos too.